Hey everyone, Pam Slim here, and I wanted to help you out with the first pass of planning for marketing for next year. There's so much that I can and will say about this in the coming month, but often what happens for people as they wind down the year, right now we're in December of 2011, is feeling overwhelmed. What should I be focusing on? And I kind of want to relax, but at the same time I want to be prepared for next year. And one of the easiest ways that I can think of shaking all the ideas out of your head and getting some great ingredients that you can start with in 2012 is to go through a couple of these basic exercises. So the first one is courtesy of my dear friend Andrea Lee. She's at Andrea, Andrea J. Lee, Lee on Twitter. And she has written a great book called Multiple Streams of Coaching Income, and I got this particular exercise from her when I went to the Wealthy Thought Leader event in Vancouver. And what she does is ask you to answer some questions about that stuff that you're currently doing. And the questions are, or the categories are, hell yes, hell no, and maybe. So when you're thinking about the activities that you want to be either continuing to do next year in your business or new ideas, things that you're totally fired up about, you want to sort them through this particular criteria. So maybe you have been doing individual coaching work with people and you love it and it's fantastic and it really meets your needs and it meets their needs. And so that would totally be a hell yes, right? Watch me as I roll around on my red ball that I'm bouncing on right here. So hell yes would be coaching. Awesome, I love it, fantastic, helps pay the bills, helps people, great. Now maybe there's something else that you're doing that's not so fantastic. Maybe you've been working on some ebooks or some information products and they're sort of doing okay if you put more energy into them, but not really. Maybe that would go into some maybe category. Hell no could be something that you've been doing that you don't enjoy. Maybe it's some kind of a freelance project for a cranky client that doesn't pay you well and they pay you late and it's not pleasant and you don't enjoy it. Just let's get that project out of here. Let's not bring it forward to 2012. Draw a line in the sand and make sure that you're definitely not going to be doing it. So that cranky freelance project, nope, not going to do it. Just doesn't work, not fun, I really don't want to do it. So as you go through all of the ideas, you want to be breaking things down in categories. And whenever you are hesitant is a good indication that it's something that needs to go in the maybe pile. Maybe doesn't necessarily mean no. As a parent, I know that it always means no. But for you and your business ideas, you can definitely sort through the maybe pile. But what you want to be doing is really noticing in your reaction to different activities that you're thinking about for next year, where do you really get that hell yes feeling? Where do you really get the hell no feeling? Usually that doesn't lie. Even something like a project, let's say it was the cranky freelance project that paid well, but it just was not enjoyable for you to do. That could be something that your visceral reaction to is just, hell no, I'm just not going to do this. I really don't want to. Or heck no, for those of you who maybe don't want to use such a strong word. So categorize all the things that you're thinking about doing for next year. Remember, December is a great time to be making a conscious decision to stop certain things. You do not have to do anything that you really don't want to do, even if it's hard to say no to certain activities. Get clear as to what do you really want to do, where will you bring value, and where will you receive value in terms of the best return of investment for your energy and your time to take care of your financial needs. So the first pass is to go through this exercise, all right? Hell yes, hell no, and maybe. You can evaluate those maybes. You can maybe put them down at a later date. You know, you can maybe start your list of your first pass of planning with only the hell yeses and then see where time allocates if you want to maybe work the maybes through. If you get stuck and you have a hard time, you might want to open a can of whip ass. I got this from my friend Andy Pels after a sly comment that I made, and they actually make whip ass grapple. It is an energy supplement, green apple energy. So you may need some of this and it may help with the process, because you need to be brutal, effective, make it happen, right? Get some clarity about what you want to do or what you don't want to do. All right. So after that, when you have your list of your hell yeses to start, here's where you might want to have an array of Post-it notes. I'm a fan of office supplies, I admit it. And I love Post-it notes for planning. It's something I used to use a lot when I did offsite meetings and facilitated. It's a great way to capture some key bits of information. You can use color coding, right? Maybe green is something that are really great revenue generating possibilities, and blue is something that you would do in partnership with people. Whatever you want to do, use these as an organizing tool. And the way that you're going to use them is in a basic calendar. I actually like to use a flip chart paper just like this, where you can lay out the quarters of the year. You see Q1 2012, January through March, then April through June, July through September, October through December. And when you're using this, that's where you can really visualize the year and also think about what's actually going on during that time of year. January, as we know, is a great time for coaches, fitness professionals, anybody who's working with people that really wants to get their groove on in the new year. They're coming fresh with New Year's resolutions and that good positive energy coming out of the holidays and having a little bit of a break. And so it's a great time to be doing things that help people to take action on big goals. You can look at similar things. The springtime is a time where people can be maybe wanting a little bit more help with expanding and building on products. Maybe they're really not going to be in total launch mode, but it would be a great time for them to be designing some things within some key launch periods. The summertime, depending upon what hemisphere that you're in or the kind of industry that you're in or who your clients are, can either be busy or it can be really, really slow in the case of clients who may be parents, for example, that are taking times off to travel with their kids. For some of you who do summertime activities, then that could be a time where you really kick up your offerings, and summer could really be a busy time for you. But imagine, based on the environment that you're selling into and the regions of the world and what's going on for people, what's really happening in this particular time of year. And then October through December, there's actually quite a bit of activity. Those of you in the crafting world have probably been gearing up like elves, getting ready for the holiday season so that you're preparing all kinds of things in your Etsy stores and craft fairs and all kinds of things like that. It can also be a good time to be launching programs where people are interested in getting a charge on for the remaining part of the year and really closing out the year in a good way, for building their business or creating products or things like that. So keep that in mind as you're doing your planning. And then that's where you can start to do your Post-it notes. So you may have, what I suggest is doing a Post-it notes for each discrete project. So maybe you have, your write book would be one thing that's a big hell yes to you. I know it is to me. It's definitely a first quarter activity. And so that could be something that you want to put in the first quarter. Maybe you say you want to launch a new program. That would be something that you do in the second quarter, and that would be kind of a major activity. So from your hell yes category, begin to look at what are some of the major things that you have going on. Also, if you're interested in using some of these color coding, you could make a distinction between things that you're building that would actually be products for sale and maybe things that you're doing for visibility or opportunity, as my friend Charlie Gilkey is fond of saying. So maybe you want to make sure that you really focus in the first quarter on doing high quality guest posts on other blogs. So that could be something that you put up. A strategic focus for the first quarter as you're writing your book is also going to be reaching out, making connections with people, and doing lots of guest posts. So however you want to use these for organizing, the key is to get a quick snapshot of a visual representation about the kinds of activities that you want to be doing. As human beings, we generally do two things. We get overeager, so we think that we can accomplish a lot more than we actually can. So that can be the case for just what you want to deliver in one particular course or product. It can also be the case of what we think we can actually accomplish within a given year. So that's why I like the idea of sorting first and just putting your hell yes activities on here. As you zero in on any one quarter, that's where you can start to get more specific and break down what might you be doing in January and February and March, and that can give you an idea of the additional capacity or time you might have to be taking on some other things. So by doing this, really you just have to worry about one quarter at a time. You can keep this planning tool up there where you might have a bunch of different post-its of things that you're thinking about doing for the rest of the year. But from an implementation perspective, see if you can just nail down and focus on the first quarter, know what you're going to be starting with as the new year turns on January 1st, and do it, deliver, implement, build what it is that you want to build in the first quarter. And then at this point, after the quarter, you can stand up, look at what you have planned for the rest of the year, figure out what adjustments that you want to make. Maybe want to shift something that you thought you were going to do here back to the last quarter of the year, or add something else. But what happens is that by capturing some of these major thoughts, they get out of your head and they have a physical place to go, so that you know you won't have to be worrying about them until much later in the year. So if you do these two things as the first step in your marketing planning process, I think it will make you feel a little bit more calm. And then from there, we can move forward with some other ideas about what you can do to get your marketing action on in 2012. Thanks, everybody. I welcome other suggestions, and I also welcome results from doing these two activities on the blog. Thanks.